Hello dear students, how are you? So previously we have learned what is loop and we have learned how to build a program using a loop. So we have a loop which contains essentially some parts, that is first is start, second is condition or that is terminating step, or then we have a third thing that is called a step, and then we have a loop body, right? So and if we talk about a while loop, we have a start, let's say I is equals to 1, and then we have a condition or terminating step or end, you can say I less than equals to, let's say 10, and then we have a loop body or step. Okay, inside the loop body I can simply try to print I plus okay or comma I, and then increase or decrease the value. Okay, so this is a simple loop. Here we have a start, we have a end or a condition, and then we have a loop body, and then we have step, uh, increment or decrement, right? And in this series we are going to learn another construct that is also a loop called a for loop. Okay, so today agenda point will be our for loop. Let's get rid of all these and we have a for. Okay, now actually before learning a for loop we should discuss a function called range. Okay, so range is the function which accepts three parameter. Okay, now you can see my intelligence source or a tooltip source stop. Okay, self is equals to, self is the parameter. Okay, for the self, you don't have to learn it right now. Actually it is talking about current referential self referential pointer, and it is means something you will be learning in class and object, so don't worry about it. So what we are going to do is either we can specify stop here. You can see stop mean the maximum value, it will go from 0 to stop. We will see how it can be done, or we can specify these three parameters or even two parameters. So let us learn what is range function. So for this I'm going to use a print function to print the output of a range function, and here I'm going to specify, let's say 5. Okay, so 5 is the parameter which I have passed to the range function. Okay, right? So now let us run and see the output. I have executed my program and it gives me range 0 to 5 finish. I must convert into a list. Okay, I have to specify like this. Let's run this program and see the output. So it gives you a list of values 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so now what I did here is just like in int function, it converts my values into a list. So it gives you series of a value from 0 to the stop, okay, or the parameter passed. So that's why we are getting 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and if I specify 10 here, so I must get number from 0 to 9 or end minus 1. Hope you got this point. And now the another syntax which can be used with the help of a range function, I can specify range functions in somewhat in this way, starting from 1 and towards the 10. Okay, so now if I run this program, you can see my values are there, but it starts with n and ends with n minus 1, again 9. Okay, now there is one more parameter for the range function. Let's say range 1 comma 10 and then specify, let's say 2. Okay, let's run this program and see. Now here the first value I'm getting with this function is 1, and then second is 3. Why? Can you guess? Yes, you guessed it right. It is simply 1 plus 3, 1 plus 2 is equals to 3, and 3 plus 2 is equals to 5, and 2 plus 5 is equals to 7, and 7 plus 2 is equals to 9. So now the increment is done by 2. Or similarly, if I specify like 3, now execute this, now you can see increment is done by 3. Okay, so if you don't specify the step value, it will be always treated as 1, just in these two cases, in case of line 6 and line 7. Hope you got it. So this is a simple working of a range function. It gives you the range of values between two values, and you can optionally specify step. Okay, now what if I specify a negative value here? See, I have a 1 start value and 10 again a bigger value, and increment is by -3. Okay, or step is -3. Let's run this program and see. Now see, I'm not getting any value because uh, there is no value we can achieve when we increase it by -3. Okay, so if you specify like 100 here, okay, 100 will be bigger value, it should be, let's say, 20, then it will work. Okay, so now you can see 20, 17, 14 and 11. So in a decremental order, or if you specify -1 here, now you can see. Let's run this program and check it out. So now this time decrement is there by -1. Okay, so hope you understood how to use a range function. So if you want a simple values, uh, incremental or decremental values in a particular order, which can be achieved with the help of a simple calculation by adding or subtracting, you can always get it with the help of a range function. And now what I'm going to do is I will be using the last row, that is perfectly fine, and we'll be using a for I is the variable I in a range 20 minus 10 and -1. Let's it be -1. Okay, so this is a simple loop, and I'm going to use a print statement and print the value of I. Okay, and to distinguish it from the above code, I'm going to print, let's say we have a asterisk here and multiplied by, let's say, 20, so that, or 30, that will be perfectly fine. And let us run this program and understand how it works. So let's increase a bit. Yes, that's perfectly fine. Now you can see, so first of all, the first value we are getting from the range function is 20, and that this 20 is going to be stored in I. Okay, so here you can see my 20 value. Sorry, let's draw up the pen. Okay, so now first value from here, this goes to our first value I, and then it prints the value of I. That's why we are getting 20 here. Okay, hope you got this. And then my second value, when my loop gets over, or loop body executes for the first time, and then it again goes up, and this time the second value from the range function goes to our I, and that's why we are printing 19. And similarly, and then on the for the third time, it has the value that is 18, and then it prints it. Okay, let's test this with the help of a debug tool. I'm going to have a debug point here, and let's try to debug this program. So now let us see. Let's wait for a minute. So now here we have, if you check the console, we have already printed the list, so we are at this position. And let us debug this program. Now if I press F8, now you can see the value or a variable I is created, and this time the value of I is 20. As you can see, the first value of the range function we are getting is 20. Okay, so 20 we have in this I, and if I try to execute this piece of a code, it prints 20. See, here we do not have any value. If I hit F8, and you will get a 20 this time. Okay, and see, our control goes to line number 8 again. Okay, line number 8 is highlighted, and you can see still the value of I is 20. Now as soon as I execute the this line, it will give you 19. That is the next value in the list. You can check it out, and here also you can see 19 is here, so it is going to print 19 uh, this time. Okay, see, 19 is there, and see the value of I is 19, and then guess what, its value will be 18. So let's hit it F8 and check out the output. Okay, see, 18. Okay, now guess it, 17, 16, 15, so on. So I'm going to hit run this time. Okay, so we are getting 18 up to minus up to, let's say, 11, because n plus 1 this time. Okay, now let us have this 5 here. So first value, you can easily guess what it is. I'm going to execute this piece of a code and check it out. Okay, so now it is taking a little bit time, no worries. Okay, we are here, and let's hit enter. So the first value is 20, so we are getting 20 at this position here. That okay, the next value is minus 5. You can easily guess it will be 15, and then see, we are getting no output for the third time. Why? Because if we minus 5 with 15, that is 10, and it can give only up to 11. Okay, so that's why we are getting only how many values? 2 values. Hope you have learned how to use a range function. So it is little bit easy compared to for loop, sorry, while loop. Now while loop give you, why I had taught you while loop, because in most of the cases when we do not know how many times your loop will execute, we use a while. But if we already know in advance how many times we have to execute a for loop, then we use a um, for loop, okay, or a loop. And secondly, while is much easier to understand in the beginning than the for loop. Okay, so now you can see, if I have to create write all the values from 1 to, let's say, 10, what I need to do with the help of a for loop is this: starting from 1, range is equals to 1, and end is equals to 10 here, so I have to place it 11, and the step is 1, so I can skip it or specify 1. Okay, let's get rid of the line number 6 and check it out. So this one will be with the help of a while loop, and this one is for loop. Let's run this program and see, we are getting the almost same result, because I have used high. That's why you are getting I as a first character. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 up to 10, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 up to 10. Okay, so whatever suits you, you can use any of these. Hope this will give you a additional tool which can be really handy when we have a fixed number of iterations. Okay, now coming to the end of this video, I have to give you some question, and that is, you have to write a program to calculate prime number using a for loop. Okay, so try 2-3 times. You can refer to previous video where I have shown you how to create a, how to find out our prime number, right? So bye bye, see you.